Why I Hate Friend Groups by Life with Bree. This is your boy RushMoreRick. If you enjoyed the reaction video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's tap into the reaction. Let's go.
No, because we need to talk about how hard it is to maintain three-person friendships. And I'm not talking about the healthy ones, but the toxic ones where the two people that are always just naturally going to be closer. So they'll be kiki and laughing, having inside jokes, and it's like they make that third person feel like they don't even belong on the planet.
If you feel bad,
Low key, that's what the thing about friend groups. Because I don't know if I made a video about it or I made a comment on it. Or I might have made a TikTok video on it. I don't know. I don't remember. But I was talking about the concept of friend groups and how some people are better one-on-one friends than group friends. Now, there's some people who can manage both. Like me, I can manage both. But sometimes if you're in a friend group setting where it's three of y'all, there's always going to be an odd man out. There's always going to be an odd man out. There's always going to be somebody who feels like they're not getting enough attention, not getting enough, enough banter. The person who's like she said, the outside person looking in, the person who doesn't understand the little inside joke, which kind of sucks for that person. It does suck, but that's why friend groups are always weird and the friendship dynamics. That's why I believe real friend groups only work if everybody can be around each other one-on-one. Everybody is in on the lore. Everybody understands everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a real friend group and not just like fucking two friends and an associate that they tag along because we just you know what I'm saying? We'll put up with you because you want to hang out with us, but we're the two real friends and you're just the person that's just there.
because you see a bunch of people with large friend groups, just know that it's so fake. It's not real.
Big friend groups are literally only for the aesthetic. They're a complete waste of time.
There are so many friend groups and even just friendships between two people where you have documented proof that they hate each other.
There's always a queen bee at the top who everybody has to pay homage to, and if you don't, you are isolated from the group.
Women friendships though, this is not really going to be about men or male friendships, but I'm gonna be, as a male, I'm going to give my perspective and see how we compared, how we're similar and how we're different. One thing that we're so different in, and maybe it's just the friend groups that I've been in, but one thing I notice about women friendships, there is they tend to go based off a social hierarchy where the most qualified woman of the friend group, and qualified can be access of things, you know what I'm saying? Who's the most pretty, who has the most connections, who has the most money, who has the most status, whose boyfriend looks the best, it could be literally anything. So when women are deciding who's you know what I'm saying, like she said, the queen bee or the top woman in the friend group, they're looking at all these things, and if you don't check off all these boxes, then you can't be the top woman. And a lot of the lower women in the friend group are just forced to just sit there and just, you know what I'm saying, some days we gonna talk shit about you. There's gonna be some days where we go out to get our Starbies and you're not invited. There's gonna be some days we hit the mall and you're the last person in the group chat to get the invite. Like, women friendships are weird, and it's like men on the outside looking in. Like, when I was in college, I was like, a lot of my friends were women, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of my friends that were women were in not big ass groups, but they were in groups of friends. Even in high school, I had a lot of female friends, and you tend to notice like the trend in how they act and how they operate amongst each other when it comes to their friend groups.
Women that are in these groups hide behind the clout and the visibility that being in a big friend group gives them.
Friend groups are just two people who are really good friends, have loyalty to each other, and everybody else is there to support that friendship and entertain that friendship.
I usually don't do good in groups because you think that everybody all cool in a group, but then there'll be a separate group. Then there'll be personal conversations outside the group. Then one day you'll see them hanging out together without you. What's going on?
Hey everyone, it's Bree. Welcome to my channel, and today I wanted to talk about friend groups. I saw this TikTok that literally sent me over the edge and triggered me so bad. I have talked about my, experiences with friendships and friend groups in my adulthood, and also growing up in high school and middle school, and just a lot of the battles and the struggles that I have had to make friends and keep friends. It's just, it feels like we're just in this era right now where people don't know how to be friends, right? And of course, it's not everybody. Like I have people in my life that treat me well now. And I have like a best friend and everything, so like I feel like I'm starting to curate my group of peoples, right? However, I came across this TikTok, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the TikTok that I am referring to.
How shitty would that make you feel? Imagine, right? Imagine like you're the fucking friendship GM. You're the friendship GM. You're like, all right, this girl is cool. This girl is funny. This girl will go perfectly with this other girl that I just met at my job, and them together collectively will go perfectly with one of my high school, you know what I'm saying, my childhood friends. Just to ultimately get cut off, and they're all still friends, and now you're no longer their friend. Now, granted, this shit, like, as these appear to be grown ass women. I don't know why we making TikToks like this, because this is like, this comes off as very childish, but like, you know what I'm saying, women are like that. They're catty, they're petty, they will do shit like this. But that's a shitty situation to be in.
And so, as you guys saw, there were a group of friends.
I wouldn't even want to be friends with them. Like, if you're the type to, like, these are the type of weird ass people, right? Where like you're in a friendship, but whenever you fall out with a friend, and like I think we've all done it. You're not a real friend with somebody unless you have like a fallout. You know what I'm saying? Real friends fall out, but it's about how you fall out and what you do during that fallout, which makes like, you know what I'm saying, which makes you really their friend or makes them really your friend. You know what I'm saying? But if women groups fall out and then they get on TikTok and they're shading each other, they're making fun, they're making videos about you and shit like that. That's always been weird to me, because a lot of women do that. Like they talk shit about each other, and then guess what? That one friend who they just made a TikTok about, she's gonna be back in the friend group in a month. They're gonna be, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be at the nail salon chopping it up. Say, oh, this was a little misunderstanding. That's just how I feel like women work in terms of friendship dynamics.
Friends that, came together because they were introduced by one mutual friend, and they have now cut off that person. And so, I saw this TikTok and I was like, okay. Now, initially, I thought, okay, maybe they cut the friend off because the friend ended up being toxic, or the friend ended up doing something to them. But then I go into the comment section, and people were actually saying that, like, they were messed up for doing that, seemingly, suggesting that the friend that introduced them, it didn't actually do anything to them. They just all, I guess, became closer as a unit, and so eventually the friend that brought them together got pushed out. And I saw a lot of people stitching this particular TikTok as well, speaking about their stories in regards to this and how they could relate to situations like that. And I saw that there were other TikToks as well of people literally like doing and saying the same thing. Like they had that exact same caption of, oh, us after, we cut off the person that brought us together.
I'm speechless. But it's like, my thing is, how bothered do you have to be as an individual? You know what I'm saying? To have another person on your mind. You have another person on your mind so much to the point that you want to pull out your phone, go on TikTok, hit that little circle record button and make a video, and then you caption it. You know what I'm saying? Put captions in the video, us cut, like, honestly, it's just like, why is that person just so in your mind? Like, if you're so glad that you booted them out the friendship, you would probably think that you don't want to think about them. You don't want to talk about them. You don't want them in the friendship. So why are they still being discussed in the friendship? Like, that makes it genuinely makes no sense to me how people can be so bothered by the lack of another person's presence. Like, you got what you wanted. Like,
and people have almost made it into like a joke. And again, if there was actually something wrong with that friend, right? Like if that friend actually did something to, you know, mess up the friendship, or they just were really toxic and they actually weren't a good person, then cool. I don't have no issues with that. But if it was a situation where someone brought y'all together, y'all wouldn't know each other unless it was for that person, and you know, y'all become close, and then y'all turn around and push out the person that was responsible for even helping you guys to meet, I think that's really messed up. And honestly, I just think that this goes to show that, like, again, we are in this era right now where people really are just terrible friends to each other. Like, people don't know how to treat each other. And I think the reason why this was so triggering for me and so many other people, right, is because you have those folks that are typically that person, right? The person that tries to bring everybody together, you know, trying to mix friend groups, mix people, and then you end up getting screwed over in the end.
you gotta. I learned that lesson, not directly, but something about like male friendships, right? And one thing that I learned just about being a human being and making connections with people, you can't mix oil and water. Like, it's just certain things you can't combine. And I like that aspect with friendships. Some friendships you may be able to, but it's like, if we're being honest, right? There's just some people, like my coworkers now. Some of them I would never fucking introduce to my friends that I've grown up with knowing from back home in Jersey. Like it's just people are different. And that's one thing that you gotta understand. A lot of women, I feel as though they don't understand that, because there's like, if I like you, then all the other people in my life that like me or that I like, they have to like you too. And it's not always going to be the case. It's not like, because people are just different. Like, my connection with you, know what I'm saying, may be just like we have a few things in common that we relate with, but outside of those things, we don't have a connection. Now, me and my other friends, we might not have nothing really in common, but we grew up in the same area, the same environment, so we have relatively shared, you know what I'm saying, experiences, whether we experience them together or we just experience the same things because we grew up in the same place. You can't always mix those two crowds, because the ideologies don't mix, the language doesn't mix, how we communicate with one another doesn't mix. Like, my friends from back home in Jersey, we could talk to each other however, like you know what I'm saying, if you're from Jersey, you know that we have an aggressive tongue. Like, we can talk to each other, not any type of way, but we known each other for so long that we can say certain things and people don't take it to heart. Now, my friends or my coworkers and associates that I have now in Texas, where they grew up in, is completely different. Like, it's like a whole different world out here. It's certain things that I would never say to them, because I will never know how they would handle it. I would never know how they would reciprocate that. Like, my joke, my sense of humor, how verbally aggressive I can be with my friends. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you can't always mix those crowds. Like, I feel like men know that, whether we learn that experience firsthand or we just, like, there's something in you that knows, like, yeah, I like my friends that are over here to be over here, and my friends that are over there to be over there.
I will never.
It just is what it is.
This happened to me multiple times, which is why I titled this video the way that I did, because this is a situation that I have been in numerous times since middle school, where I found myself befriending people, right? And then at some point, we all become a collective friend group. And at some point, I was always the one that kind of got phased out, and people started like treating me differently and started being mean to me. And then next thing you know, I went from having a bunch of friends to no friends. And, you know, typically, you know, when that happens, right, people will often say, oh, well, you must have been the problem, right? And for a long time, I did blame myself, right? Like, I did blame myself because I was like, okay, like, why is it that every single time I try to have a friend group, it never lasts? And it typically doesn't last for me. Like, I'm typically the one that gets pushed out. I'm the one that gets, you know, removed from the group chat. Why does that keep happening to me? Especially because, you know, back in like middle school when that happened, and in high school too, like that was like a whole thing where like I had like a group of best friends, and you know, things happened, and then by the time I graduated high school, I literally didn't talk to any of those people anymore because they no longer wanted me in their friend group. They didn't want me apart. And you know, the running theme of all of these fallouts when it came to these particular friend groups, right, is that I was annoying and I no longer fit in with the group. It was always, you know, Bree is weird, Bree is not into the things that we are into, and Bree talks too much and Bree is X, Y, and Z. Like, that's why for a very long time I struggled to talk, to speak to people. I think, you know, YouTube was a really big help for me in terms of like, you know, finding my voice again and sharing my opinions and thoughts with people, because for a long time whenever I would try to like talk to people, it was like people didn't want to hear me. People just wanted me to be quiet, and it was really disheartening, you know, when you're trying to make friends and you almost feel as though just simply being yourself isn't enough. And it's a weird thing too, right, because you would think that you being yourself is what created those friendships in the first place, but it's just something about when people get into a group setting and then you have folks that, you know, gravitate towards each other, you always have a person that ends up feeling left out, whether it's on purpose or not.
And that's one thing that is true. Like, when you're vetting people, like before you call a person your friend, you got to see how they interact in a group setting, because a person one-on-one can be likable. They can be, you know what I'm saying, agreeable. They can be a good person to be around, a good person to talk to, a good person that can share space with you. You know what I'm saying? You won't think twice about it. But there's been times, like even in male friendships, I would say this is a similar part where, yes, we don't have the social hierarchy, but there's a lot of dudes who get in the friend group, and once we're all together, they start I'm trying to learn how to stop swearing because I got a potty mouth, but I want to like glick riding. And you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But there's certain friend groups, like, and certain guys in friend groups that just glick ride off each other that like all day. They could be in person. It could be in a group chat. It could be on a game. Like there's just certain people within the friend. Just like I said, every friend group has friend groups within the friend group. And it's just like, that's one thing where I can honestly say where she spoke about, where it's like I kind of see that, because a lot of people get around other people and they just lose all morality. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to just chill. Like be that same friend that you were when it was just you and me. Don't be a whole different person doing a whole fucking 360 or 180, whatever the fucking terminology is. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a person that just changes because we're around 3 or 4 other people and you want to be cool to them just like you want to be cool to me. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I never understood and I don't really like. I don't like people who iguana, who change their color just for social approval. Like, be yourself.
How do you know you're the dry friend? When you're the last person picked to come to the event. Somehow everybody knew about the event, but you learned about it the day of when they made the post and tagged you. My bad, when they sent you the post, they ain't even tagged you. Every time you talk, everybody hits a big okay. Yeah, you're the least popular friend. When you suggest a place to eat.
But my thing is, like, if you're that person experiencing these things, how do you not notice this? Like, I refuse to believe that there's people. Now, granted, there are some people that are just genuinely oblivious to their surroundings. They genuinely don't know what the heck is going on whenever they're around their friends. Like, they can't read the room. They can't read body language. They can't read facial expressions. As an adult in a friend group, I don't know how you got this far, because you probably got a license with a car. And that's kind of scary. But context clues. As an adult, we need to be applying context clues to everything in our lives. So I've always been a person, whether even if it's directed to me, I'd never experienced that where every time I open my mouth, people be, oh, this nigga, this brother, this bro, what you about to say now? I've seen it, but I've never like what the women say, you gotta clock this shit. Like I've clocked it tons of times. There's certain people in my friend groups today that whenever they open their mouth, a lot of people don't want to hear what they say. Or whenever they type in the group chat, the whole group chat go mute. like it just happens that way. I don't know why, but as a person who like if it's being done to you, I just can't see how you can't peep energy and just be like, okay, but I see what it is. Like I'm in the friend group, but I'm not in the friend group. Like, if that makes sense. Like, you gotta see the shit for what it is.
And nobody act like they heard it. They heard everybody else with their suggestions. Subway, da-da-da. You've been saying Taco Bell for the past 20 minutes. Ain't nobody heard Taco Bell until Janet said Taco Bell. Then everybody like, man, Taco Bell. I said this 20 minutes ago. Somehow that one friend brought matching gifts for everybody and forgot yours. Somehow yours was different color than everybody else's. Oh, I mean, that was the last one they had left.
Getting ignored in a group chat is one of the most humbling experiences. If you're in a group chat with more than 3 people, you send a message, nobody replies, take it personal. Imagine walking into a room full of people, you say hello, nobody replies or even acknowledges you. I can't think of anything more oralist. I would rather send a message and have somebody reply telling me to shut the fuck up instead of just being ignored, bro. I'm in a group chat with 4 niggas. I send a message, takes them a whole day to respond. Oh, it took all of you, you're all busy. All of you are busy at the same time for a whole day. Fuck you, bro. Speaking of group chats, I can't think of anything more anxiety provoking than being added to an already established group chat. Sending a message in that context is so difficult. Imagine nobody replies. I will delete iMessage. I promise you, I'll never send a text message again. Asking a question in a group chat and having nobody reply, it's like, cool, bro, fuck me then. I'm gonna go stand in the corner and tell myself some positive affirmations so I can feel like I matter. Getting ignored in a group chat has to feel the same way as getting on a stage and trying to do stand-up comedy when you're not funny. No joke lands, nobody responds or laughs. You're just there demoralized. What do you do in that situation? I know what you do. You square up with every single person in the room. You have to fight for your respect.
Because here's the thing. I understand that sometimes that can just happen naturally, right? Like, not everyone is going to have the same thoughts and views and ideas about stuff, right? And I do think it's very rare, especially nowadays, to actually have a genuine friend group where everybody's on the same page, everybody has the same interests, and everybody wants to do the same things, right? And so I do understand that you're going to have moments where people in the friend group, maybe they connect on certain things that maybe other people don't, right? But again, as I've seen people talk about on TikTok, as well as from my own personal experience, it always feels like, you know, everybody else is on the same page and then you just kind of get, you know, shifted out. And I think that's why for me, I am at a point where I don't even know if I really want a friend group anymore or if I even have a desire or...
Nah, you do. You do. I will say that's the one thing that I do miss about being back home. Like, I moved away from all my friends and all my family to start my new life in Texas, and I love my new life. But going to events and going out to something I see like on TikTok, especially with like male friend groups, just hitting up the boys and going bowling. Hitting up the boys are going to go play pool. You know what I'm saying? Hopping on the game is cool and all. Like I'm saying, you have your friend group, but just going out and knowing that you're going to be out with people and knowing that you're like, you don't gotta be so pressed to, if I go here, if I don't meet one person, I'm ultimately going to be by myself for the night. Like, you don't have to think about those things, and not thinking about those things makes your life easier. Now, I will say, don't sacrifice your, you know what I'm saying? Don't sacrifice your mental solitude just to fit in with a friend group that you know don't fuck with you. Like, that's pretty dumb. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Always go where you're wanted. Always go where you're welcomed. Always go where you're appreciated. Always go where you're accepted. Now, with that being said, I disagree with her on this, because I feel like a lot of people need friend groups. Like, friend groups are important. They are essentially. Having a friend is important, but also having groups of friends is important because they make things fun. Like, let's not be oblivious. Let's not lie to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But you can also, like, that's not me saying that you can't have fun by yourself. You can have fun by yourself as well. But having a friend group and going out and doing, like, I remember when I went to the fucking Super Bowl parade. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl and they had the parade in Philly, and I was out there with all my friends, and we was just like, it was just a vibe. I don't know what other terminology to use other than fucking sounding like a 30-year-old fucking LA white woman. But that's what it was. It was a vibe. It was just good energy all around. I looked to my left, I had a friend. Looked to my right, I had a friend. Look forward, I had a friend. Nobody behind me because we don't play like that. Let's go.
Shoot, if I even have faith that I'll have a friend group at this point, I think I still always have the potential to make friends, right? And I have friends now, but I've never been able to establish like a group, right? Like something that I've always like kind of been a little jelly of from other people is being able to be in like not even just one group chat, but like I know people that are in like multiple group chats because they just have that many friends. And you know, I've also seen two people say like sometimes you have friends that just don't mix well, right? Because sometimes you can have the opposite effect where you bring people together and they don't get along, they don't mesh, and then it's just a whole thing. And you know, I've always admired the people that, you know, could have like 20, 30 friends and be able to have their little pockets, their little groups of friends. Whereas with me, because I've struggled so much to make friends and to connect with people, just because I don't know, I'm a little different, I guess, and I'm into different things. It's hard even trying to maintain friendships on a, you know, one-to-one basis, let alone a group, you know, because even now, like I'm cool with people, but I can't say that I have enough friends to even formulate a friend group, right?
I like to think that too. Like a lot of people, like personally me, I don't like the idea of having hella friends sounds nice, but I don't think I will ever, because like I'm just, certain people are just so closed off. Certain people are just so laid back to themselves. I don't really speak to people like that. Like I don't have a problem talking, but initiating conversations with people, especially these days, is always kind of hard to me because, like she said, you can tell kind of a lot of people don't want to talk. And I'm a yapper. I'm a rambler. Like if I'm passionate about something, you can sense that from me. And a lot of people, from what I see, especially in Texas, like a lot of people, they don't really have passionate conversations. Like I like passionate conversations. I like conversations that, you know what I'm saying, make me feel energetic. And if you're not reciprocating my energy, gang, I'm not gonna want to talk to you. But I think we get the gist of the video. Like friendships and friend groups are, you know what I'm saying, they're not the same. They're not like how they used to be. They're not easy to make and they're not easy to obtain, especially if you're the one bringing everybody together and you get phased out. I know that probably sucks, but it's the world that we live in. It's your boy RushMoreRick. If you enjoyed the reaction video, like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know your ideas on friend groups or male, female friend groups. You know what I'm saying? Have this happened to you? Has this never happened to you? Let me know. I would love to interact with y'all on this topic because I feel like this is genuinely interesting. We out of here. Have a great day.